Let's start today with population and fertility. I hope everybody had a good weekend. We woke up this morning to news that the US fertility rate dropped to its lowest in a century with a lower number of births in 2023. CNN reports the fertility rate in the US has been trending down for decades. A new report shows another drop in births in 2023 brings the rate down to its lowest in more than a century. There were 3.6 million babies born in 2023, or 54.4 live births for every 1,000 females age 15 to 44, according to provisional data. One little note is that there are increasingly births to women older than 44, but that should not affect this rate because it is still encompassing the totality of babies born. I believe I'm understanding that correctly, but it would be a small difference in terms of this rate. Now, there have been so many politicizations of the birth rate and fertility over recent years. Elon Musk has famously said, we need to have more babies, a population decline is coming, and so on and so forth. On the other hand, there have been those who, for environmental reasons, have insisted we already have too many people, overpopulation, we need to stop having babies, anti-natalists, let's cut the entire thing, there's too many people. Now, the reality is that there are lots of people who are very, very wrong, or at least missing half or more of the picture when it comes to this issue. The first critical part to understand about declining fertility rates is that worldwide, when you see economic development and wealth increase, you see a decline in the fertility rates. As countries develop, the economic incentives for having more kids go down. Kids are less useful in an information society than they were in an agricultural society, where the more kids you have, they grow up and they work on the farm, for example. Higher standard of living and higher income leads to lower fertility rates. And this is not just in the United States. It's not just in the US and Europe. For people who love to say, oh, soon Africa, this, that, or the other thing. When you look at the countries in Africa that are developing more quickly and where standard of living is rising and infant mortality is declining, they are also having fewer kids. This seems to be a phenomena that crosses geography, it crosses culture, it crosses religion and race and ethnicity and the entire thing. When you increase education and lower unemployment, meaning there is more demand for people to work, you also, especially for women, delay having kids. And when you delay having kids, you end up having fewer kids because you have fewer reproductive years during which you want to have children. Urbanization, when people move from rural to urban areas, it lowers fertility rates for many of the reasons I mentioned, plus higher cost of living, reduced need for children to contribute to household labor. We are seeing people move from rural to urban globally. And so it's really important to understand that this is not unique to the United States. And so far, efforts to increase the fertility rate in other countries have not gone particularly well. On the bonus show, probably tomorrow or maybe on Wednesday, we'll talk about what's going on with the fertility rate in South Korea. So this doesn't seem to be something that is special or unique to the United States. Now, if you believe, and this is the part where the right starts to kind of go haywire, if you believe in the traditional model, I would call it, or framework of economic growth, which is the way economies grow is by more people working and more people consuming. In other words, growth to some degree comes from increasing the number of people buying stuff and selling their labor in a country. The US is going to need more people. It's not unique to the US. We're based in the US, so we're talking about it in these terms. But to the extent that economic growth is based on the continued population growth and productivity growth and consumption, at a certain point, the population in the US is going to start to decline. The expectations are, somewhere between 2050 and 2100, depending on the model you look at. And the problem the US is going to have is not too many people, which, by the way, there is so much more than enough space for so many more people in the United States. We can talk about the environmental implications. That's not the conversation right now. There is plenty of room for more people here. The problem the US will face under the traditional economic model is not enough people. And so it is very interesting as we hear anti-immigration right-wingers, too many people coming in legally, too many people coming in illegally. Stay home in wherever your home country is. When they say that, and they also express concern about the future of the American economy, soon the problem is going to be, we've got to get more people here. I've read a number of books which suggest that the US needs to very quickly double or triple the amount of legal immigration coming to the United States in order to deal with the declining fertility rate. Now, of course, bringing people here from other countries that also are experiencing declining fertility won't solve the problem in a different country. Okay, now, to get outside of this model, we need to think of a different economic model. And there are pros and cons to all of this. But to a great degree, the right-wing panic over immigrants, the real panic should be, we're going to need to dramatically increase immigration if under the current economic model, we want to maintain economic growth and our current standard of living. Now, there's the entire environmental approach to this, some elements of which they get right, some elements of which they actually get wrong, a topic for a different day. But a lot of people in different ways have this issue wrong, or at least very incomplete. If this topic is interesting, maybe we'll bring on an expert or two to talk about it. Let me know. It is time to start thinking like voters and to make sure that kids understand the importance of voting, how it works, registering, ballot initiatives, because so many kids just have no idea. That's why I wrote the new children's book, Think Like a Voter. I can think of no better time and no more important group of folks to try to reach. The book is now available at davidpakman.com/book, where, by the way, you can get the first two books in the series as well. Think Like a Detective and Think Like a Scientist. Really important stuff. Donate them to local libraries, classrooms, read them with the kids. davidpakman.com/book.